I'm going to be starting a new set of life strategies groups in a little less than a month. And I've been doing the groups for probably 10, 12 years, something like that. So there are a whole collection of individuals that have participated in the groups, and it's great because people come and go, and some people have stayed for years, and interestingly, others have decided to meet outside of the group. And for an example, there's a group that I met with 9 years ago. They still meet every month for coffee. So basically, what I'm trying to grow is connecting people, ADHD folks, with each other, number one. Number two, connect us with resources and information. And so what I watch is, I'll run through what's going on right now. So I always get maybe 20 or 30 people that I hear from by email, or they call me and they say, hey, I've heard about these groups from my doctor, nurse practitioner, my therapist, and tell me more about them. And it's really interesting. Over the years, my spiel has evolved, but what I found is it's really hard to represent exactly what the Life Strategies series is about. I can say, basically there are three components. One is, in the very beginning in Life Strategies 101, it's about education. It's about learning about the diagnosis. To me, there are several things that are really important to know. I like everybody in the room to have a common language. I like to have people interface with information that's fairly cutting edge and new authors, new books. So there's that level of learning and education. Second level is connecting with other people that live with the diagnosis. And to me, that is, over time, the most valuable component, is to watch the connection between these people happen. And it isn't, my wish isn't that people become best friends, but more that they start to see parts of themselves in these other people in the room and have some of the bad parts of the diagnosis or feelings about themselves normalized. Like, wow, somebody else lives with this. Somebody else has really grappled with this. So-and-so, they do really well with this. And so that becomes a model for me. Not like I want to be like them, but more, hey, if they can do it, I can do it, And actually, those are two of the most important components. There is a third component, and it's about kind of the rhythm and the cadence of actually making a commitment to something for 10 weeks and actually following through. So one of the things I do in the very beginning in Life Strategies 101 is, by signing up for the group, you've committed to all 10 sessions. You've committed to showing up for 10 sessions. My experience as an ADHD person is that earlier in my life, if I didn't like something, I was inclined to quit and walk away, no questions asked. So this, based on my experience, is something I've woven into the group. And by asking people to do this up front, people are a little trepidatious about that. But I think people at the 10th session value the fact that they did make the commitment, they did stay with it, even though they felt like quitting. So what happens is, what I watch happen in Life Strategies 101, about the 4th or 5th session, what I watch is people get more comfortable coming into the room and sitting with these people. It isn't like people bristle at the stories of other people, but it's almost like, just a couple examples in the one-on-one group I'm doing right now. A couple people commented on, I thought I was going to walk into this room and just find these really extremely strange people, low-functioning kind of bottom-feeder people, and I just didn't want to be hanging out with those people. And she said, but what I found was an amazing collection of people that are really high-functioning and highly intelligent and creative. And she said it actually really was intimidating, more than what I had anticipated. Not intimidating in the way that, oh my God, I'm not like them, I'm not as good as them, but wow, she said it just shook up my worldview, my whole concept of ADHD, and it made me begin to look at my ADHD in a very, very different way. So to hear that was pretty significant. I had another woman in the one-on-one group this past time. When I met with her just prior to the group, just to tell her about the group and answer her questions, what she told me was, she says, And this woman is in one of the major corporations in town and has a very, very high position there. But what she said is, I'm really bad at relationships. People hate me. I have a tendency to offend people, and I have no friends. And I remember telling her in that first session, it's like, it's really interesting. I don't get that sense of you. I feel this warmth and genuineness from you, but I must be wrong. I believe you. You are really bad. She chose to sign up for the group, and it was fun to watch her process in the group and watch her smile, watch her connect with these people. In the beginning, I could tell she felt really kind of on the periphery and marginalized. But just to watch her get comfortable with these people and begin to contribute and start to shift in the way that she saw herself, and to get feedback from other people that she was incredibly insightful and empathetic. So to watch her have to grapple with the fact that this story she'd been telling herself for so many years was really incorrect. That basically what was getting in her way was how impulsive she would react and respond to some of her employees, or to her managers or whatever, and that it was just for her a matter of tweaking her delivery, of buying herself a minute before she chose to speak. So I watched that happen in the initial part of the series, and the other thing, as the series goes on, I watch people I watch groups gel. And by that I mean what typically will happen is people after group will go out and have coffee, do whatever. And it was interesting, one of the groups last week, there was a holiday break. Everybody showed up for group and didn't realize that group wasn't going to meet. Rather than everybody walking off, what they chose to do was go down the street to Starbucks, and they ended up having their own meeting. Another example of what's going on recently is some of the members of one of the groups that's been together for several years, they've set up a night where they meet and they do journaling and writing and hang out together and do that. I did a workshop yesterday, and I watched a woman who had just broken up, just lost a real significant relationship. There were 3 or 4 of her group members there at the conference workshop at the same time, and I could just see them gathering around her and supporting her. A very significant change for her. In her life, she'd been isolated and ostracized, and for her to allow herself to be surrounded by that level of support was just amazingly significant. I was just so happy. But those are some of the examples of what happens as a result of participating in the group. I also watch that people come in and collect information about the diagnosis. Another wish I have for people is that they become incredible advocates for themselves by learning about the diagnosis, and not necessarily going out and overtly stating into the world that I'm ADHD and damn it, I want to be accommodated, but more learning about the nuances of the diagnosis and how it shows up for them, and being able to advocate for that. Being able to preempt something and say, hey, I'm a little spacey sometimes, so forgive me, just if that happens, please let me know. Not that I'm ADHD, cut me some slack. So to become an advocate for yourself, to walk out into the world with a little bit more confidence, arming yourself with more information and knowledge about the diagnosis, reframing what ADHD means. In some of the groups, what we're working with are the name of the diagnosis. For the most part, we've come up and decided that attention deficit disorder is a misnomer. That really it's about attention modulation. It's about how do we choose to focus and attend to things.